Live. I got a damn video going. But no, Eddie will sit there and eat damn candy and shit while we're playing, and it's like, Eddie, I can tell every damn candy you eat, every time he puts a potato chip, it just sounds like a giant carrot.
That's what happens when you have good headphones.
Hey man, I like chips and I like Takis and I like eating candy from time to time.
Yeah, well, I got him one of my those Xbox Elite controllers I repaired. Chad, so he better not bet him. I know he's gonna just fucking just rub his Dorito hands
Cheeto
all
fingers,
over
man.
shit.
No,
That's what
that is put away when I'm here, and usually around. I use my other one. If I'm eating, I'm using my other one.
If you got the Cheeto fingers, you have to use the white controller. Just out of principle, it has to be the white one. Otherwise, what's the point?
And this one usually stays clean anyway.
Well, I hope you like it, and if you fuck it up, I can fix it up. And if if I fucked it up before I even gave it to you, I don't know about it, but I can probably fix it. We'll just rip
it's packed away right now.
All right.
It is nice and safe, and I'm gonna make sure it's safe because I'm gonna use it with games when they come out.
You don't want to name the game yet.
This one I just keep because it's already out, and if I'm eating, I don't want to mess the other one up.
Yeah, he's got a old 360, just the OG with a wire on it. Those are actually kind of rare. But
it works.
Yeah. But the hell with that crosspad, man. I think that crosspad sucks.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah. And we'll be playing Neo, and I see him standing still, so I know he's fiddling with the damn crosspad on the dang on the.
No,
buttons.
really. I'm usually in the items menu, looking at all the weapons and stuff, see if I can upgrade
during the boss fight.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, a piece of gold.
No, it's more like where can I upgrade at the forgery for this? Because I'm just gonna oh man, I'm dying.
I'll be fighting the guy that's guarding the chest. Eddie will run up and he holds his hand out, so I know he's fucking collecting the treasure off the freaking damn whatever the guy was guarding. He says, kick the fucking chest open, get the treasure. You don't. I don't see it pop out for him. I know he's moving around in that shit. He's collecting all of it. I have to kill the enemy.
Yeah, just like playing Diablo. You got to get the treasures. That's the important stuff.
No, you got to leave that shit on the ground. On Neo, you just go and you freaking just cash it all in. Like so, you can collect every damn thing. But anyway, I was hoping to do a podcast about all of these damn games coming out in 2023, because your new consoles come out in 2020 or whatever. You had COVID. You can blame COVID for why there wasn't any games, but if you go back to PS4 and Xbox One, there weren't any games for a couple of years. Yeah, it's the same damn way. You get excited, you get that new system, and then you're essentially playing old shit better. Is pretty much what you're doing.
What about the new systems that didn't have chips in them?
What did you hear about that?
Yeah. What was it? The Tower Xbox and the PS5s or whatever.
They didn't
there was
have
like
shit
a shortage.
Oh yeah.
There was a shortage of them for a while. You were telling me about that. There were a bunch of scalpers were buying them all up.
Dude, that still was happening. As far as I know, they go back to damn like $800 and shit on eBay during Christmas anyway.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And now it's like right after Christmas, you started being able to actually see them in stores again. I think they're about regulated in price now, aren't they? Like the PS5s and whatnot.
The PS5 went up in price in other countries, but not in the United States. But I
just remember for a while, man, it was like if you had a PS5, it was like $1,000.
Yeah, if you
what's the X brick tower called? XS or
the Series X? And
Series
that's
X.
a dumbass name, but yeah, they are now 2-something years old, and so 2023 is when the actual shit starts coming out. So this is gonna be, if you went back to your Xbox One generation, that would have been like 2017. So that's when Nier came out Horizon, Persona 5, and Zelda Breath of the Wild came out at the same time the Switch came out. So like all of that shit popped out at once. This is what I'm thinking is going to happen here. That's if they keep their dates. I already see games starting to move around. Jedi Survivor realized it was in the goddamn death spiral on March, so they moved away to April. There's not much stuff going on in April, but they'll keep shifting around, and I'm sure some of these games that are locked in dates is like here, it's about here, it's right now, it's Starfield, it's out. Wait, no, it's not coming out. They'll change the freaking dates. And I'm almost thinking for the most part we'll just go in kind of a rough month kind of thing. Just go down the line of what we got here and list them out real quick, and then we'll probably talk about Resident Evil 4 more, because that's probably the most anticipated for most of us. Me and Eddie know stuff about Diablo 4, which I still don't think we could talk about, Eddie, okay? Just say anything you saw. Anything you saw YouTubers talk about, all right? Just declare it like that.
Well, the storyline thing, can I talk about that? Because that I did see on YouTube.
It's 2 years old, man. I really cannot give two flying fucks about that Diablo story. It's going to be collect treasure, kill sluts. I mean, that's what it is.
I couldn't even tell you what the story of Diablo 3 was. And I sure as hell don't know what the story of Diablo 2 was. But I probably logged about 200 hours into Diablo 2.
Wait a minute. You spent part of your life playing D2, going through the acts, and you don't know the story.
Oh, I have no damn clue. Don't care.
Okay.
I bet I played that. I bet you.
You're chasing Diablo.
I literally probably have 1,000 hours logged on Diablo 2. I give two shits what the story is. Yeah. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, pretty much. I know I have more than that, and I know the story, and I also don't care. It's more like greetings, stranger, and then that's the only. You just hear the starts of the blurbs.
I have, but I actually know what the storylines kind of are.
I've never even watched the cutscenes on Diablo 2.
The important part of Diablo 3 was looking for treasure goblins and getting treasures. And when I found bandit shrines, I was happy.
That's just it. It's like Diablo 2. It was all about the economy. It didn't freaking matter. You know, what's going now? SOJs, IST, High Ruins, it's like, that's all that matters. The rest of it's like just there. I mean, I never, ever watched any of those cutscenes. I remember, like, literally somebody's like, never, ever. And I'm like, no, I never bothered. I skipped them every single time.
I watched them the first time I played through. After that, I didn't.
You can disable them shits on Diablo 3.
Except for the one where Diablo transforms and he walks through the portal. That one I watch every once in a while.
Oh, that's like cool. What's the one dude's name that was like Tyrael or whatever? It's like he's from Diablo 2, and it's like that guy was in Diablo 2. Like, I had no idea. They're like, oh yeah, that's the guy you go talk to, you know, in Act 4 to get your skills.
It raises up your dead mercenary.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's nice. I mean, it just didn't matter. It was like, whatever. Mm. He's an NPC. He's there. It's like, now Geed, I know Geed, and I know Kane.
Geed's one of the gambling guys. His daughter is in D3, and that's who you gamble blood shards to.
Yeah, well,
I had no idea that was connected. Like, I know the NPC in Diablo 3 to gamble with blood shards, but I had no idea that they were actually connected to each other.
Well,
and the only reason I remember, it's like, I didn't even know that Deckard Cain died in that freaking game until probably like 3 years after it came out. I was like, it didn't freaking matter.
He was still talking after he was dead.
He was still talking, and he was still IDing stuff. So to me, he was just still there.
I know. Oh, really?
But as I seen from YouTube videos, from official people who aren't me, okay, they go for the sort of presentation of Diablo 1, sort of like the I don't know how exactly the tone. They don't pull that off. They do. It does work though for me. People are going to have mixed fucking opinions. Of course they are, but really mixed opinions about the open world shit. It's absolutely imperative that is a huge part of the damn game. But people are like, this is busy work. And yeah, it is busy work. It's going to be like, you know what? I've got these kind of sort of these legendary, I don't forget what the fuck they called, but the Diablo 3 style abilities. And I could get more variants of them and have them as passives. I can use it, anytime I need to pull them out. If I go do all these caves, it's like, oh well, how many caves are there? There's 108 or some shit like. It's like freaking.
Get 10 million side quests. You do them all, and you get all these nice abilities and level up points. From what I saw,
as long as there's something to get from the side
this
quest.
guy talking about it.
They're in as many side quests as you think. But yeah, there's a reward to doing them. And that's pretty damn important. And it's not like, oh well, here's a sticker or some shit like you get in some games.
I get a fancy hat.
Yeah. Some of them you change some of the better ones. You'll make a town after you're done with it. So it'll be a boss fortress or whatever. You'll beat it, and then there's a town. And so that's really, I mean, who gives a shit about the people in the town, man? But it's a waypoint, and you're really going to want some waypoints because there are a lot of world events are on timers. Essentially, it's like, oh well, it's the top of the hour. We're having a big thing. And then
the giant guy with the chain treasure box that I saw in the trailer.
So all of you only at any one time will have 8 players in your actual instance or whatever the fuck, but the instance changes all the time. And so you'll move forward and you'll be grouped with 8 players and you'll fight this boss. But at the same time, probably everybody on your damn freaking half of them on your server are actually fighting more instances of that boss at the same time. And so that's how that multiplayer works, and it works pretty good as far as like online. Oh, I'm sure week 1 it's just going to be
it's going to be a shit show.
It's going to crash and burn.
Yeah.
Just like D3.
The problem is it may be, I don't know how you should say this, like maybe over processed or sterilized. I didn't see too much like just, once you get this, you're stupidly broken. Everything seems to be fairly tightly balanced and maybe overbalanced. And so it might make it sort of a generic feeling. And that's my concern. It's something you don't understand until you get 100 fucking hours into. The immediate gameplay is very much Diablo 3 as far as like your skills and shit and your cooldowns and stuff like that. And I actually do like that pretty good bit because, half of Diablo 2 was... either avoiding shit you couldn't kill because you're immune to it, or just spamming the same fucking skill on top of it 5 billion times, and then teleporting your little stupid mercenary out of the way so you don't get killed. At least that's that's sorcerer's play.
Yep. That after the Enigma, that became everybody's play. It's like teleport through, can't kill it, go around it.
And graphically. The problem is Diablo 2 Resurrected came out first, or this would be very impressive graphically. The graphics are a hell of a lot better than the original first betas or whatever, but the freaking Diablo 2 Resurrected looks tight. We won't zoom in on their faces because you're all ugly, huge He-Mans, but especially the Amazon. But the graphics look amazing, and so. And I'm hoping that when and it finally is out for release, we'll have any of the little performance issues to be taken care of. And it's going to look crisp. Lots of damn spatial reflections. Everything's like smudgy and muddy, kind of look into it. But I'm pretty hyped. That hits around June the 6th, I think. They got different release dates depending on how much collector's editions you want to buy. You want to buy the super collector's edition with the season pass and the battle pass and all that other crap. It's gonna have all that shit in there.
I just want the one with the candles, as long as it has the candles with it, so I can light them up and play at the same time.
You just got real freaking wax candles. You have to get a new one every season because you done burnt through it.
No, you have to do a new one every time you play. It's like that's how you know when you got to stop when the candle runs out. So that's how you meter yourself. So it's not like cocaine, like when you played the original Diablo 2. And you end up like
Diablo 2: A Lost Days to play.
Yeah. Or you
I didn't know what day it was.
You just be like, I'll just play until like midnight, and the next thing you know, it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and you're like, I gotta get up, go to work now. It's like why am I still playing this?
Because you're still collecting treasures.
It's one more run, man. One more run, and that's when that wind force will drop. Yeah. And then it don't.
Yeah, but that's coming out. So just going back, and try to get it almost in the chronological order. Hell, we're gonna fuck it up, but Hogwarts just recently came out. And people are
everybody played.
Yeah.
I think that's what crashed Steam.
I know 3 or 4 people who bought it and playing it. And I'm not as someone who is not a Harry Potter fan. My first immediate expectation is y'all buying an Avalanche game, and Avalanche games are mediocre as shit. I mean, I don't know what you're doing, but hey, so a lot of people seem to like it. I bet you if you take the Harry Potter off of it, it's just going to be generic open world boredom fest. Number 4, 5, 6, 8 that came out this month. But hey
this
man, what's
giant
up?
open world thing you do main quests.
It might be like something like KOTOR, where I mean KOTOR is a pretty good game, but really what made KOTOR so amazing is you felt like you're in that damn Star Wars
That
world.
universe.
Yeah. And if that's what Hogwarts is doing, then it probably don't even need to be good from a gameplay perspective. If you feel like you're there, then that's going to do a lot of people. And I think, how many of y'all have y'all seen any of that shit? Because I've not seen any of them.
Yeah, I've seen some.
Okay.
I think
there's a bunch of
seen
Let's
all of
Players saying, "Here's my playthrough of it."
Oh, you mean the game?
I'm talking about the movies.
I think
No,
I've
I've seen
almost all. I think there's one.
a little bit of each one.
Yeah,
and
because
I'm
I was
like-
never a big fan of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just not my thing.
My suspicion is
It's all right
this
stuff.
is if this was Star Wars, this is original trilogy type shit, and then they recently had a prequel type thing that people don't like, the Fantastic Beasts or whatever the fuck it is. And then so this being a throwback really has got their attention, and it's also just releasing at a good time. It released about the same time as Elden Ring did last year. It's actually outdoing Elden Ring in the UK. Of course, that's freaking
That's
home
where
base.
J.K.
for it.
Rowling
Yeah.
is.
That's the home base for it, but Elden Ring was outselling down Call of Duty when it came out, so that tells you how big that more than likely this game is. We won't ever have real numbers until like the quarter. Brian, you're making me nervous. Brian's like, I'm real close to this damn stop record button.
Brian wants you to pay attention to him.
All
That's
right.
Kitty, and he'll leave you be.
Other games this month just came out today, and it face planted. Wild Hearts is EA. EA got together with Koei, that's Japanese and American, and they call it an EA original. Wild Hearts is a Monster Hunter clone. Came out to a big face plant on Steam. I'm like, you get an exciting, if you're putting in performance mode, you get an exciting 60 frames a second at 1080p on your brand new consoles. You get that 2008 resolution, man. It's exciting, but they got problems with it. I don't know how it's going to fare out. You know, the Monster Hunter games, they got long tails to them, man. And so, you know what? I will definitely play it when it hits Game Pass. As with all of these EA games that we're going to list here are going to be on Game Pass. So it's like, to me, it's like, oh, y'all guys are playing the paid for demo. That's my opinion.
Yeah, Monster Hunter World took us like almost a whole year for us to get to.
That's why
Five
I'm
guys
worried,
left.
That's why I'm worried that, you know, if we play this game as good, it's just take or steal our fucking soul. But I ain't gonna. I know that's what EA
It's
wants.
not gonna be Diablo 2 kind of thing, but it's gonna take a while to get through it.
Yeah. I've got Jedi Survivor, which is moved from March to April. Chad, I'm assuming you're hyped for that.
I like the first one, so I would definitely be interested in this one. I'm trying to think. How do you? It's always is that. Did you ever play that game?
Mm-mm.
Well, it's kind of like it kind of had like a not quite Metroidvania feel, but a kind of sort of like you unlock new powers as you go along to like open parts to places on worlds that you couldn't open before.
So you just go back.
So you go back and be like, oh, now I have this power, so I can I can get this boulder out of the way of this doorway or something or whatever.
Hold on. That reminds me kind of what Carrion is. You have to actually get special power-ups to go
Ain't
to certain
even
levels.
close, Eddie, to the
You
same.
sure?
Ain't even
It
close.
sounds kind of like it.
Now, is that a interconnected world or is that like a level based?
It's just
No.
giant
The game that
interconnected
came out,
open
the
world.
game we're talking about is come out this year. Jedi Survivor 1. I'm sorry, but
The next one in the
Yeah.
Fallen Order Part 2, you mean?
yeah,
What were you saying again?
is
It's
it like
an open world.
is it connected levels or is it like just individual levels? And you just go back and select the old ones and go to them.
Basically, it's like it's each planet.
Okay.
So like and the cool thing about it is like you would get on your ship, and you'd be like you'd go and tell it kind of like you remember like on KOTOR it'd be like I need to go to freaking like Hoth or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but it would actually do the thing where the plane would rise up and it would go into like, basically it was hiding a load screen, I'm sure, but there would be dialogue and you could walk around on the ship and do stuff while you were traveling to that planet. And it actually kind of had a cool atmosphere about it. But it was kind of like, Metroidvania where it's like, I can't open this door because I don't have quite that force power or whatever. So anytime you do a second version of that game, it's like, and it's the same character. It's like, how do you start back over of like, this person doesn't know how to double jump or this person doesn't, kind of like in the Metroid Prime games.
How does he lose his abilities? And if he's a Jedi Master, how does he become an idiot again?
Yeah, exactly. And that's like, well, maybe it's an all new setup. Like, I'm sure it's like you'll have the basics, like your push, pull, pause, whatever crap. But it's always one of those weird things when you're like, okay, now I'm back to being an idiot, and it's the same guy. It's like, how, it's always weird when you have to do that.
Yeah. Well, you just have the Grim Reaper steal your abilities, bro. Steal all your toys at the beginning.
Dude, that's the easiest way to do it.
or
like
Hades,
Darth Vader's going to show up and steal all your damn shit,
It's like Kratos is going through the damn Hades again. The river speaks, for the 40th time.
So, I mean, it's like, I like the first, to me, that was probably like, I think that was EA's first good Star Wars game when they got that. That was really kind of like, okay, this isn't terrible. Because before that, what was it? Battlefront came out and failed.
Yeah.
And there was something, but that was like their first one of like, oh, this is actually pretty good. And it was all single player, no multiplayer. So it had a pretty decent story. Took place between Clone Wars and A New Hope. So it was kind of in that thing where you could still see people show up that weren't dead, but whatever.
Yeah. So I forgot his name. It starts with a Z. The Call of Duty creator guy is the one who is in charge of that. And they're putting him in charge of more and more shit to try to fix the damn shit. I think he might be in charge. They might have put his ass in charge of saving Battlefield. But the Apex, he did Apex Legends. So, but their EA is really looked through and said, okay, our big huge games of service, fuck ups or kind of screw ups, and of course Wild Hearts just being another one, but they farmed out another team that did it. They paid Koei to do it, but so you're going to see more of these more single player. Now that goes back. We'll go back because this game just came out, Eddie. So do you know much about Dead Space? Because that just came out and it's getting very good reviews.
I saw one of my favorite guys do a little bit of a playthrough. He hadn't quite finished it or anything. I don't know if he's going to get back on it. But he was playing through some of it, and it looks kind of like the original, except there's like 10 million side quests where you can go through and you look for different rigs of crew members of the Ishimura to get different clearance level things, whatever. It's like some kind of clearance side quest that you have to find a bunch of rigs, do a bunch of odd things, and so as you progress in the game, you get different levels of clearance, so you can go back and do all the side quest stuff.
So more than just a graphics overhaul, is it what you're trying to say?
Yeah,
that's my impression.
It's a bit more. Some of the boss fights are a bit different.
Yeah,
and some of the areas look a bit different.
Yeah, I know that my friend Zach has played through it and was very, very much liked it. That's what a lot of people were expecting Callisto Protocol to be, and ended up being a giant fuck up. But it's
I've
good.
I've not heard of that until I started looking into the Dead Space remake, and then it was like, this game, and
yeah, it was overshadowed. It was overshadowing the remake of Dead Space because a lot of people were, because it was supposed to be the original team, but it was one of the most hyped games for 2022. If you saw the trailers like I did, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Looks that dang amazing. Well, apparently it looks amazing and plays like shit. Runs like shit and plays like shit.
Yeah, I saw the trailer finally, and it was like, it looks good, but from what I heard, it's not good.
Yeah, well,
So
You got too many games come out this year to be fucking up like that. That came out, I think, December. Another game that came out in December that I played 100 fucking hours on is Chain Echoes. It was pretty much like a spiritual successor to Final Fantasy VI, made by one damn guy. He spent 7 years on it, and then phenomenal, a 10 out of 10 game. It does have some problems with it. Freaking amazing. I had a let's play for it. It was freaking great. That's what happens with this indie shit. It just kind of pops up, and he's like, it was on my wish list. Hell, it was day one Game Pass. But Xbox probably has to nab games like that that they know is coming along real good, is because they ain't got shit, man. They ain't got nothing. Fucking Halo Infinite just blow it up in their face. They fired up pretty much the whole damn team. Let me look through my list here. So
I still got that
early March, Wolong comes out, and I'm hoping the three of us can play it. And probably,
hopefully that game don't suck.
I mean, it very much could. But it's made by Team Ninja. Team Ninja's last two games were Neo 1 and 2, and they were both freaking great. Neo 2 is especially good.
Neo 2. Run around, look for treasure, get killed in the menu.
Yeah, me and you got over 100 hours into it, and I had 100 hours before then, so that's putting me up there like in my damn top 5 most played Steam games. Freaking great. Now, Wolong, sounds a little bit different. Like, it isn't got a stamina bar, so it doesn't make it like a Dark Souls clone. But the big thing is, Xbox is like, you know what? All those Koei games come out, we don't do shit about it. So we're gonna day one release. Wolong's gonna be on Game Pass. So for me, that's probably one of the biggest damn Game Pass releases yet.
It's gonna be like $70 or something.
Well, that's if you buy it. Fuck that. That's just you get the shit on Game
Pass.
Yeah, you get it on Game Pass. Eddie's gonna be tight on his money. We'll get you a copy one way, but it's gonna be on the Xbox Live Store. It ain't gonna be on Steam, Eddie.
Yeah,
but
I figure as much. But there's a couple of games I am looking forward to. One of which you said you were gonna get, and there's gonna be everybody trying to play it all at once. I'm gonna wait on that one until everybody is done with their hyping.
Which one is that?
RE4 remake.
Oh, we're not there yet. We're gonna piddle around that and come back to that. But
the other two is Dead Island 2 and Rayman 2. And we'll probably get to those.
No. Go ahead and talk about it. I think it's April 28th is the day they say for Dead Island 2.
Now, and I got it here.
It says the 21st.
Oh, the 21st?
April 21st, 2023.
Okay, I got
Dead Island 2.
Dead Island 1. Was that the one with... I can't remember. Is that the one that was like just glitchy as hell on like Xbox 360?
It wasn't for me.
Yeah,
I played through it on 360 and it was good.
We're going to jump
I liked it.
We're going to mansplain Eddie. To me, it came off as like an RPG except with zombies. So like almost like a Skyrim or Morrowind type style RPG. Tons of inventory and shit.
But like Steve, when it first came out,
you played like Dying Light. It was made by the same guys that did Dead Island.
But there's no parkour in it, right?
Not really. It was made by the same company, same guys.
I remember playing it when it first came out, and it seems like I remember like when it first came, like they patched it, obviously. But it was like it just was really sketchy. But I could be wrong. I mean, it's been God. When did that come out? Like 2007 or something like that.
It's been a long time.
It's been a while. I mean, it's been a minute.
And I want to say it was announced somewhere in around 2015 or 16. I could be wrong. It was fairly early in PS4.
Dead Island 2 was supposed to come out with Dying Light 2.
Yeah.
Dying Light 2 and Dead Island 2 were supposed to come out like 2015. They had game trailers and actual playthrough demos of it and everything. But, Dying Light 2 just hit like a year ago or a few months back or something.
Drew isn't speaking highly of it. Did you get it? I don't think you got it.
No. I didn't get Dying Light 2.
We and you played through the first one. Of course, you and Drew went nuts on it. I thought it was okay.
I thought it was okay. It was just for me. I played Dead Island first, and it was just a copy of Dead
Yeah.
Island. Basically, same storyline stuff.
And your weapons breaking, so you got to keep making them, right?
Yeah, you gotta keep finding stuff.
Okay. Did didn't Dead Island? Oh shit! I'm gonna get confused because they're the same. Why are you gonna name them the same thing almost? The one we played with the parkour, that one had like Excaliburs and shit, didn't it? Or am I wrong?
It had developer mod weapons, but you had to go out and find them.
Okay.
Dead Island had the same stuff, but you had to get items to actually get the what was it? The craft recipes to make them. You had to like find the different colored skulls, take them to an altar of that color somewhere in the whole level,
Yeah.
and you'd have to use diamonds to actually make some of this stuff.
So would you say that you like those games? Do you like Dead Island 1 more than Dead Rising 1? Because I think there are a lot of ways that try to be like that.
Dead Rising.
Isn't that one with fucking Frank with the damn camera?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Dead
you're
Rising
sitting
1.
there in the mall chopping up zombies with whatever you got. That was
Yeah, which
fun.
one you like that more? Putting you on the
Dead
spot.
Island was first person view.
I understand.
Dead Rising was
It's a
not.
similar setup though.
Yeah,
A big, huge world with tons of zombies. You make weapons.
Yeah, I would say. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say.
He ain't gonna.
It's
ain't
been
gonna
so
sit there.
long since I've actually
doesn't wanna-
played Dead
He don't want to
Rising.
knock. He don't want to knock Dead Island before it comes out again.
No.
Well, that's just. I remember playing it when it first, and apparently it came out in like 2011. And I remember getting it because I was like, "Oh, this is going to be very similar to Dead Rising," which I played the crap out of. And it just being like right out of the gate, it was so freaking broken and like glitchy. But it was like it was clearly not what I wanted it to be or thought it was going to be. Apparently, I'm sure they fixed it later on, but yeah, it was like just glitchy as hell right off the get go.
I got introduced to it when I was looking for a new game to play, and I was looking up different Xbox games because I had just gotten my Xbox. I found for like $100. It just didn't have a hard drive for it, but I found this out, and there was this guy. I forgot what his name was, but he was doing a
Let's play.
playthrough of
Yeah.
a little of it, and it looked good. It looked like something I wanted to try. So I found it for like what's it, $10 at a secondhand store, game store.
A lot of fun.
It was fun.
But
It was fun.
Dead Island 2 has been in development hell forever, but it's coming
Dead
out.
Island 2 has been in development hell since 2015.
Yeah, you're approaching Duke Nukem status there. But,
Yeah, I was about to say you're starting to reach that Duke Nukem Forever level right there.
Yeah, yeah. So the chance.
I would say Dying Light 2 would have been there, but it came out finally.
Yeah, well, and came out mediocre. But hey, man, I do wish it was going to be good for you. I have a high suspicion, and I think do not buy that day one.
No, I'm going to wait till it goes cheap.
At the
That's
very
what I
least,
usually
wait
do.
till they fix whatever performance bullshit they'll have surely on PC.
Because as soon as it hits, it's probably going to be like $70, $80, and I'm going to say no.
Yeah, the value proposition might not be there.
That's where CD keys is for.
Yeah. That might be where I
Yeah.
get that Resident Evil for. But we're still going to skip that, and I'm going to move forward. We're doing good on my list here. So Street Fighter 6 comes out early June, so pretty much the same time as Diablo does. I'm pretty hyped for that. The characters are all been spoiled months in advance. A lot of the closed betas that people are having high opinions of it. But if you need to feel like you're getting a complete game before you start shitting on
I was about to say,
DLC.
when's the second part of the game come out? Have
Yeah,
they decided yet?
What they've said is there were 24 characters leaked. Only 18 are I think going to make it in the game. So Akuma's DLC already. So
Oh yeah, of course.
yeah.
But I mean, like, is there actually going to be like multiplayer? Is that day one, or is that going to be like 6 months later?
They've been having these things where you go into the arcades with these other people. This is a dang thing that Guilty Gear people's Arc Systems does, and so you're in like this sort of like hub thing, and then you can go to arcade next to somebody and you play them. That's how that works. And they have emulated games in there. I don't know all what's in there, but The lobby.
So it's not gonna be random fighting random people.
No, the fucking bullshit randos for no reason. No, they're gonna have lobbies, and if that fucking if you can't have a private lobby, we're gonna have serious damn problems. If you can't get the most basic shit, but they've been working on this game for years. They know they have their core 3 pillars of what they want. This big training thing. The online is this kind of like get together party type thing, and then actually having a real single player that isn't just 2 fights that a baby literally did just press buttons and beat the fucking story that came out with Street Fighter V. A baby just mashed buttons and it was good enough to beat the computer.
I think I stopped playing Street Fighter V by the time the story got released, so I don't know what the story was.
It's fucking depressing. You bought a PlayStation for it.
Yeah, I did. I bought a joystick and a fucking PlayStation for it.
Yeah. You could probably still get that joystick. It'd probably be a pain in the ass to get that shit to work on Steam. It probably could be done, or we could just gut that motherfucker, bro. And make
I'm about to say I've got much better options on fucking joysticks now. It's like I could use an old 360 one and be better off.
So I've made that hitbox. I have not put much as time as that I thought I was going to put into it, but when I played Jason and Project whatever the fuck it was a couple weeks ago, I lost. But I what I wanted to do, I was most part able to do. So I'm learning that hitbox stuff. A lot of people are switching to hitbox for Street Fighter. It's like a big transition thing because the Japanese guys did it, so we got to do it too, man.
They're gonna be better.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like I played with the first one you made, and it was like I could see how this could be better.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you go to a joystick after a controller. It's like there's a learning curve, but you could see like, oh, if I get good at this, it'll make me infinitely better.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with that. I remember I was playing with that hitbox, and I'm like, you could get so much better with this.
Yeah, I probably just need to play some more. A lot of times for those joysticks, I ended up playing just NES games and shit with the damn joystick, and that just gave me a damn core set of skill. So it was
direction.
Yeah. About to sneeze up on and shit. But Street Fighter is June. About to sneeze. Well, I'm allergic to coffee, bros. All right, marking that off. Here's a big one that I personally don't care about, and I don't think any of us do, but this is probably automatic game of the year. Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is in May. They took long fuck enough to have it basically DLC for Breath of the Wild 1. How much of that did you play, Jad?
Of Breath of the Wild 1?
Yeah.
0.
Yeah, you ain't missing nothing.
I never even got into it. Now, I owned it about 3 or 4 times because I would pick it up at the flea market and flip it, and it'd be like, I just never got around to playing it because people would be like, oh man, it's like 3 hours of basically getting into the game, and I'm like, I don't have that kind of time anymore. I mean, it just did not appeal to me whatsoever. I mean, I thought it looked great. I thought that I was like, if I was really into Zelda, I would probably love this. And I do like Zelda games. I played the crap out of most all of them.
Yeah.
But I was like, I just do not have the time to dedicate to this.
I'm thrilled that they changed it up from the Ocarina of Time. They had been stuck in that kind of route for 20-something plus years.
Oh, yeah.
And so they finally changed it up. I think a lot of it is just super hardcore Nintendo fans, Zelda fans were just thrilled to have a giant-ass game, so the Skyrim-type game.
Yeah.
The individual levels are freaking great, but they were your dungeons are like literally like 20-minute things, and it's like this is impressive. Wow, I love the dungeons they had, the little mini dungeons, and the puzzles there were great. The frame rate's shit. Your weapons breaking is crap. I don't know if they're going to have. I don't know if they've even addressed that you can't. Whether the weapons still break, they probably do, honestly. And then, but the dungeons, they need dungeons in this game to compensate. And it might not. You might not need like 8 of them shits, but they need some freaking big ass dungeons. And they might get it where it's like the Breath of the Wild, where you can do that shit for the most part in any order. That would be interesting, because then you would have to use basically whatever goodies you got there in that dungeon to beat it, or whatever they set you out to do it. They give you fairly early. They give you the answers that you need for puzzles. There's like 4 or 5 things you could do with your gravity shit. Actually, there's a lot more than 4 or 5. But what main worry about that is it's on Switch. That's what I'm really worried about, and it's not too interested because I've become a hipster man.
Switch.
Well, I mean, I have a Switch. Have you plug that fucker back in the damn? You just put it up in your Tupperware, Eddie, because the performance on that shit is bad. Just be frank about it. And you play the same game on an emulator, and even though it's going to flaky and it's going to have damn cache problems out the ass, it's like immediately graphically like, holy shit, this is what Zelda looks like in 4K. It's like, this looks fucking phenomenal. That clean look that Mario and especially the Link's Awakening have on the Switch.
It's crazy.
Yeah, you put that shit in 4K, it's like, holy damn fuck, man. It's just and so you see that and you're like, you know what, I don't even want to play it on 720 on Switch at 30 frames a second.
Link's Awakening I would put money down on, because I still have it for Game Boy somewhere packed away.
That's a great game.
That was probably the only one I seriously played. I hadn't really played any other Zelda game.
The remake,
I played a little bit of Ocarina of Time because my cousin had it, but that was probably,
And I know you're not a damn elitist shithead like me, Eddie, but if you went back to play Ocarina of Time, that 20 frames a second would get to you. You're like, this is kind of...
What, on
64?
What was it? Yeah, 64.
It was even on the remake of the 3DS remake. It was kind of like they redid it, but it was still kind of rough. The control scheme was not great for the 3DS. Yeah. But no, that's like the remake of Link's Awakening was. It was great, but
remake
the
was
performance
good. It looked good.
It looked good, but the performance was shit.
Yeah.
It had a few more side quest stuff in it, and different things you can do.
I don't remember there being any extra side quest things in it.
It had a lot more shills as well.
I do remember that, because I remember back in the old days, what was it, like 25? And I think I was like, dude, I got like 25, like right off the rip.
And then you go and you get your level 2 sword that shoots out stuff when your hearts are full.
I remember it had the color dungeon in it.
That was the first remake for Game Boy Color.
Yeah, they added that in, but they still had it in the remake. I was trying to remember if there's any. It seems like there was one extra dungeon or something, but I can't remember. It was one of those I played through at one time and was like, I'm good.
Well, it's great that they did include that shit that they put in the DX, because so many games these days, it's like, oh, we've already remade this once, and now we're just going to remake it again, but we're actually not going to have all the shit that the remake have. You can not go on and on and on. There's tons of Final Fantasies like that, and you get pissed off because if you played it, you're like, wait a minute, y'all did this better 20 years ago, and now y'all are screwing up.
It's kind of like you know the little miniature Mario game that they came out with, and they came out with a Zelda one. They're like $50. You can buy them at Walmart, Target, whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, they're little pocket things. And it had Zelda, and it had Zelda 2, and like Link's Awakening. And I was like, it had the Game Boy version of Link's Awakening. It's like, why didn't they just put the DX version on there? And because I almost bought one, but I was like, I really like that DX version. Like that was my favorite one.
Yeah.
I just like the color dungeon in it.
What brand of game was this made by?
Oh, it's Nintendo. It's like a little handheld. What did they used to call those things back in the day?
Game and Watch.
The Game and Watch. They're supposed to be like versions.
A throwback to that, except color and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, because Mario, I think, had Mario 1, 2, and 3 maybe. I forget. It's been out for a few years, but the Zelda one came out and it's like green, but it had like Zelda 2, and I think Link's Awakening for the Game Boy on it. You still see them every once in a while at Walmart's, but they're like official Nintendo stuff.
Yeah. And moving on in our list, Final Fantasy 16 is June, so the same month that Diablo and Street Fighter comes out, Final Fantasy 16 comes out. That's a dump. Somebody's gonna move. But that's only on PlayStation. It's going to have like at least 6 months before it hits PC. And the irony is, it's like everybody. There was a Japanese interview, and it was with the Japanese chat was able to ask the damn guy questions, and they were asking when the PC version, because he ain't announced it, and he got pissed off. He's like, "Why don't y'all just play the PlayStation one? That's the one we made it for." It's like,
do you not have PlayStation 5?
Yeah, pretty much. No, we don't have a PlayStation 5. We want to play. We want to play that shit on compromise. All right. A lot of people are like, "This is the one. This was going to be good." You hear it every fucking time. This is the one that's going to fix the franchise. You got an extreme suspicion because Final Fantasy 15 sucked. Another game that just came out, made by the Final Fantasy 15 team, was called Forspoken. Just came out. I was kind of interested in it, but you know what? It's made by the same
got a
team.
cool
They
trailer.
fucked it up. It had a cool trailer. Everything else about it has been bad. It reviewed bad. Angry Joe just gave it a 4 out of 10 like yesterday.
Hold on. Angry Joe.
He's not irrelevant, okay?
I forgot what his outlook on Phoenix Point was, but it didn't look good from his review. But Christopher Odd went through it, and he played it on Legend and got through it. Angry Joe kept getting mind controlled.
Angry Joe is a filthy casual, bro. But I like his reviews. They've just fucking along as shit. But I've got no faith at all in this Final Fantasy, and I can gladly and easily wait, just like I did for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Remake 2 is supposed to be this year. That's a big supposed to. I don't know why you would release 2 giant Final Fantasies in the same year. That's why I don't think they're going to push it back. And I can't be bothered to give a fuck anyway. That's like the bloat waste time edition is what it's going to be.
The only Final Fantasy I played was played through and actually sat down and played through was 8.
Well, there's supposed to be 3 Final Fantasy 7s now. The first one was in the actual PS game. Midgar is like 4 to 5 hours, and you could stretch that shit out and kill everything and maybe get 6 out of it. They've done stretched it out to 30 plus hours, and I think it's like 50 something to do everything. It sounds like a giant fucking circle jerk. Is what it sounds. And so you're just going to, oh man, you guys remember Barrett? He used to cuss. It's like it's just a big, huge nostalgia trip, a big bloated waste of time. And he's like, you know what? I'll just play that shit when it's actually one game.
Are they gonna do the casino part in there where you go to like?
You talking about dressing up at you? Oh well,
and
maybe that would be
the chocobo races and all that stuff.
That would be in part 2. You would think. Otherwise, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just taking a piss. But you know,
because that's where you also fight Ruby Weapon. So I see my brother and my cousin playing that.
That's disc 3 at the earliest for that kind of shit, or it might pop up for a second as a cutscene. But they spent so much fucking time, I think, working on this and to just blow it up. I don't know. You ain't gonna be able to.
What's the name of it?
You can't please people. Want that? They want the exact same game with fancy graphics. I don't think you should get that. But so they just. I don't know. I'm a pretty big Final Fantasy VII fan, but I'm not like those fuckers who are just like, this is the only game. It's freaking Cloud, and that ain't me. But moving on, because that probably ain't coming out. Another game, but probably ain't coming out. Forza Motorsport. I'm hyped for that, but I think they're going to faceplant. I know you don't even care, Eddie.
Not too big into the racing thing, unless they redo, what was it, Rock and Roll Racing? That was pretty fun.
Now that wasn't Blizzard, right? It was Blizzard.
I think it was Blizzard.
Oh yeah,
I think it was. When's the last time they came out with a motorsport game and not the Horizon games? It's been
around 3 years at least.
That's what I was thinking.
Forza 7 is discontinued, so they ran out of a license for the cars and shit, and they just you can't even get to it. I bet the only one I think you can play is Horizon 4.
Yep, Blizzard Entertainment, Namco.
Well, you can beg Lord Phil when he buys the fucking company to make Rock and Roll Racing. But he's more than likely he's just going to make fucking Hexen 2 is what he's going to fucking, or Hexen 3 or Heritage.
I'm about to say it'd have to be 3.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, isn't Blizzard also Diablo?
Yeah, you're coming together, Eddie. You starting to realize they made Super Nintendo games?
Yeah, they were actually around before Diablo 1.
Yeah, my first Blizzard game was Justice League Task Force, and it cost like $70, and it had like 6 characters in it and 2 bosses.
It had Green Arrow in it, motherfucker.
Well, no, the Green Arrow sucked. Aquaman, CPU Aquaman was like the badass motherfucker. He was like just a destroyer, man, and just whooped ass. But moving on real quick, Baldur's Gate 3 is in August. I'm hyped for that. And is it going to be the way you think it is, Eddie? It's going to be the way Divine Divinity 2 is. I'm pretty hyped for that. That might be my game of the year.
I've never heard of Divine Divinity.
Yeah.
So. We still
Remnant,
hadn't even played Baldur's Gate 2.
Remnant
Still hadn't.
2, I think it's
Remnant
going to be
2
delayed.
is supposed to come out this year at some point. It said 2023. I don't know if it is coming out. It might come out on Christmas or something.
So I remember I got you that on a whim, Chad. I know if you played it, you like it, but it's one of those you play with friends kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Third person.
I need to play more.
Yeah, third person shooter. More in the lines with sort of like random generated levels. It's not really Diablo loot style. There's certain treasures, but it has like there's a random chance you'll run into the mission you want. So you got to go through the world, the act a couple of times to get the mission you're looking for. Fun as shit. 3-player, freaking great. It came out about several years ago, about $40, so it wasn't even full price. It was just phenomenal. And that might be the only damn Embracer game I give a shit about. Gearbox is publishing it, so they're gonna fuck it up. So.
I hope it's good because I really do want to try it.
Tekken 8, I don't know if it's going to hit this year or it'll be hit late.
Yeah.
I know you don't care. I care, but I don't $60 care.
I'm not too much into fighting games.
It's a whole new thing you gotta learn.
Put money down on.
And just going through games that might come out of early access and have DLCs, and I'm just going to list them so we can get to Resident Evil. Iron Fury, I've been waiting for fucking years for them to get their damn expansion pack. I loved Iron Fury. First person shooter. You played it, Eddie.
I played a little bit of it. It was fun. It was played like Duke Nukem and Doom.
Yeah, better. Duke Nukem, if you went back and played it today, is like, this is pretty damn fucking rough. But Iron Fury is great.
Yeah.
Medieval, which I loved. It got me. That was the game that made me start doing them YouTube video game reviews. Medieval DLCs do.
Medieval.
Elden Ring DLC, I would think would be this year. That's humongous one that's announced.
They gonna have 20 more bosses on there.
Darkest Dungeons should come out of early access this year.
Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah, Darkest Dungeon 2. It's been on Epic Games for around a year right now, or maybe 6 months to a year. It's been there for a hot second, but it's just the early access. Is like, fucking, I ain't getting that, especially if it's on the EA. I mean, might as well say it EA Access, freaking Epic Games shit. I'm personally waiting for Strangers in Paradise to get off of Epic Games to be on Steam. That's a big Steve game. I'll do a let's play of that.
What exactly is that?
It's pretty much a Neo style game made by Team Ninja, except from the story in the world is Final Fantasy 1. And I love Final Fantasy 1. And I'm the only one that's going to get all those fucking references because it's literally made for me, but they put it on Epic. So it's like, I ain't playing that shit yet.
Games.
It's year exclusivity. That's what I expect it's going to be. Stops in March. And the last I've got on this list before we get to Resident Evil is Metroid Prime Remaster, which kind of popped out of nowhere. But people ended up liking it a pretty good bit. It just came out like last week. And it fixed what the big problem I've had with Prime since, honestly, when it came out, is that it did not have dual analog controls.
It was awkward. And a lot of people, like, when it came out, were like, oh, this is fine. But I remember playing it and being like, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
You know, it was... Because first person at that point was still trying to, you know, that would have been about the time of what, Xbox OG.
It's an Xbox OG and PS2, and you got to remember that the dual, before you even had damn dual analog sticks, you had Turok on N64. So that's literally 6 months into damn N64's release. You had a what you would. The prelude of what that would be. Turok's the first one that I've seen that had that. So you used the C controllers on that, but you would, you've got all of your axes. You got X, Y, and Z when you do that. But in Prime, it was auto aim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You would lock on the fucking shit, and then when you locked on, you can move around the way Ocarina of Time works. But otherwise, you don't have. I don't even know if you had strafe straight up. You had to hold down strafe. It was a strafe button. I think.
Yeah, if memory serves, it was. It's been a minute since I played it.
Yeah, and then I remember you would just get annoyed. You'd have like 5 or 6 things on the screen, so I would just be mashing the fuck out of the damn auto target and the shoot button at the same time.
Plus, then you had to go back and scan everything in every freaking room.
Yeah.
That to me kind of got old because it was like, all right, there's like 10 things in this one little area, and I got to go scan every single one of them, as opposed to like, just let me go to somewhere where I can't go past it and then figure out how to get past it. That's all I need to do.
Yeah, you would have to 3D scan every fucking thing. And when Metroid, if you played a lot, it's designed to do speed runs on. It's phenomenal for speed runs. And then, but the way Prime was with all of that, if you wanted your super bestest ending, you needed to scan every do-rig instead of doing a speed run. So it's just like, it just fell apart there. I think if they just spent a little bit extra time, I'm sure there's speedrunners today to fucking knock that shit out. You know, with all like second, but you could get the down play time about 4 hours because I think that's the time for. I want to say that's what it is for Super Metroid. But you know, I liked Prime a pretty good bit, even though it's annoying as fuck. But I beat it. I have never. That's the only one I didn't beat Prime 2. I played maybe half of it. But it was so fucking cool to be not only in her suit or whatever it is, where you kind of see her face and
like the heads up display and all that.
Yeah. But the music, the atmosphere, that to me they managed to get on par with Super, which is big down. It's a big get, you know, because Super is one of the greatest games ever fucking made. But I always tell people, like, which Metroid should I play, dude? You only need two. You play Super Metroid and you play Prime, but you Prime, you ain't gonna have that dual analog. It's gonna drive you nuts. But you do now. Not only did they have that, they I think they updated the graphics, and then I think it has every damn control scheme from all of the damn ports. So like when they brought it to Wii and put like I don't what do you call it, pointy controls or whatever the fuck, that's all there. And so I'm like, that's pretty fucking cool. They didn't leave anyone out. And so that's the way you should do like a remaster or report. If you've got like 40 other variations, you get all that shit in there somehow or another, and so you leave everybody happy and not leave anyone pissed off. I have not played it, but that's what I've heard. And so I'm interested in just trying that out. I know I never had even played Dread more than damn 2 hours, but you know, whatever.
I played a little bit of the second one like you, and it was kind of, but I like how Nintendo does that though. They'll just be like, "Hey, you check out what we made. You like it? It's out right now." You know, it's kind of cool. It's like you didn't even know we were working on this, but here you go.
Yeah, it's a throwing a bone to the people who want Metroid Prime 4. And there's a lot of people, Metroid's going to be there. Metroid's going to be there. I'm like, no. First of all, Zelda's about to come out, so it's going to have actual Zelda shit in there. And second off, they don't have to be paying attention. But I know that Metroid 4 came out in 1984. Every time you beat it up, it says 1994 on that shit. You're looking at the 30th anniversary. Next year is when you're going to see it. Sorry, man. Sorry. But, you know, Nintendo will leave your ass hanging for, like, years if you're, like, a fan of a certain damn poor F-Zero fans.
Yep. I was literally about to say F-Zero. We did that one time. You like Pilot Wings? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, you know, in StarCraft, you know...
My cousin had that.
Not StarCraft. Star Fox. More than half of them suck.
Oh, yeah. Especially when they started getting out of the ships and, you know, going around shooting stuff in third-person view. It's like, this is not Star Fox anymore.
Yeah.
There was one that didn't quite make it. It was like some kind of dinosaur island thing, whatever.
I want to say, I know what you're talking about. I want to say they eventually came out with a variant of that. Am I wrong? Or they remade it into something else?
I don't know. All I saw was a game review history thing of Star Fox, and they were mentioning it.
Yeah. Star Fox is one of those games they'll just farm out and have other people make it. And so, of course, you know, that's what they did with Retro Studios until they bought them. But so you know, Metroid getting some love is pretty good. Fuck playing it on a Switch. I don't want to play it on a Switch. And the last thing,
play it on your Steam Deck.
Fuck yeah. Well, I'm sure people were like going to sit there and brag about that. I'm like, yeah, okay, go ahead. It's like, go ahead. Guess that's another damn thing. Just not going to let you do what you wanted to do. Last two games on my list before we get to Resident Evil 4. Avatar is by Ubisoft, supposed to be this year. And guess what? I'm going to scratch through. No, it ain't. Ubisoft can't get shit out this year. They'll be lucky to get that small Assassin's Creed game out. Because of some deal they're doing with Singapore, they have to do Skull and Bones. It has to come out. And so if they've delayed it 5 or 6 times, the entire thing's a fucked project that they should have canned, but they have to bring it out. And so it's going to come out, and it's going to be a disaster. And they know it, and we know it. Everybody knows it. And so they're just waiting for Skull and Bones to come out. But what people wanted with that game was they wanted Assassin's Creed 4 where you're out in the pirate boat being a pirate asshole. But, you know, they want you to be on the land and in the boat. That's what people want. And have something there, not just be shallow
like
as fuck
like
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves didn't launch for very much. But they didn't even have like any kind of thing where you're on the land at all. And so for like the first couple of years. The last time I did see that, and like, this is awful. You could see it in the trailer. When your trailer is fucking awful, you got problems. It's just,
it's like you put your best foot forward, not like this is crap.
But Ubisoft has promised to make a giant open world Star Wars game. They've also promised and shown Avatar, a big ass Avatar game, which I don't even know if Avatar 2 did worth a damn, and I don't care one way or another. But they probably want to cancel that too. So, and the last on the list, and this is actually pretty big. It's pretty big to certain people. I don't care. Spider-Man 2 for PlayStation is supposed to come out this year. I'm thinking it'll be in the second half. I know people love that fucking game. Me personally, I don't care. But you know, if you really feel like you're Spider-Man, then you know.
It's one of those like I bought it and I've yet to play it. And I bought it like when it first came out, and I still haven't played it. Yeah. I love the one that was Spider-Man 2, the movie on Xbox. That was a great game.
And I heard. Actually, I played a little bit of what was it, Ultimate, back on Xbox OG. I liked it. I'm just not a big Spider-Man fan.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It was fun to play because the city was so big, and I'm sure this is like an even better version of that. I just never got around to it.
Yeah. All right, I've been holding it back from you, Eddie, but we're going to talk about Resident Evil 4 now. How much have you seen any of the gameplay trailer for Resident Evil 4 remake?
I've seen what they were showing on the YouTube and what they were doing like a trailer thing for it.
Did you talk about the teaser? Because there was a teaser.
Yeah.
There was a non-gameplay teaser.
Leon's running around the town.
Oh no! So okay. You sell that, yeah. I got that for the most part. What I liked immediately is you just got the damn part where you melee the fucking shit out of the monster. So it's like, it's not Resident Evil 4.
The thing is, with that, the knife is going to actually break, and you got to actually craft a new one.
I don't care a shit about that fucking knife.
With that,
you gotta shoot the guy in the toe, and he stumbles over, and then you body slam his ass. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that knife. We'll see what they do.
It means you can get in a knife fight with the chainsaw guy, and you don't die instantly.
It's just going to be used as a shield, man. Just like
it's just going to be a parry.
Yeah,
and it's one of those things. That's all fine and dandy, but dude, he was easy enough to defeat to begin with. Like
shoot him. There's two of them.
Yeah, it still ain't that bad.
There's
just pop him with
a
shotgun.
there.
You just pop him in the knees with a shotgun, and you just start swiping that knife blade over and over and over again.
Well, the challenge on Resident Evil Village was very fucking high, and so was Resident Evil 2. I mean, I'm hoping for some Resident Evil 2 crazy shit where they'll do some gameplay surprises on us. That's what I'm hoping. We'll see.
Yeah.
But there ain't much more hot than running through that damn police station, and you've got zombies alive in every fucking room, but you ain't got bullets to kill them all because you just shot their kneecaps off, and they're crawling around their ass. It's just,
and you gotta remember which ones you didn't kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta, remember you can't head stomp them anymore like in the original when they were biting your ankles. You can actually head stomp and kill them.
And some of those guys, you're just putting whole clips in, and he's like, God damn it, this is bad.
They're bullet sponges,
Tyrant.
man.
You actually shoot a zombie, X shows up and kills you.
Yeah.
You run the wrong way, a licker shows up and kills you. You gotta walk through all of that.
Well, we won't talk much about how Resident Evil 3 let us all down. Let everybody down.
Let me down especially because the original was better.
They had a side team on that. It came out not too hot, and then I don't know if it was before or after, but once Capcom got a hold of what they were doing on Resident Evil 4, they threw the fucking team out, and so they was like, "This is not how it's going to happen." I think
Game of the year 2005 is supposed to be game of the year 2023.
it could be, man. If you got a Resident Evil 2 quality game with Resident Evil 4 shit, with action oriented, that could be game of the year. And of course, I love that freaking damn for PC. That dang Resident Evil engine just runs on every damn thing, and you can shoot the shit out of it.
Oh, it's gonna be. I have high hopes, but I don't have high hopes of playing it when it comes out.
Well, Eddie, I'm gonna get it when it comes out, and you just steal that shit off my account. As long as you ain't up at 4 a.m., you're gonna be able to play it.
3 other guys there that are gonna want to play that.
You're gonna have plenty of time. Otherwise, you can just freak out. You know, you gotta sit there and buy that single player game that you can play off my account for free. Because you know when I'm gonna be on, it's gonna be 3 a.m. Because we on the night shift, Eddie. But I think this could be it, man. And then they'll just what's gonna happen. They have to start the remakes after that.
They got a freaking Resident Evil 5 remake after that.
I don't think they're gonna do it. That would be the one I would want to play. More than this one, honestly, because
you think they'll do a Code Veronica at some point?
No,
I don't think.
I would wish for it, but I don't have high hopes for that ever getting remade.
No, see,
but
if there
was going to be a remake, I want it'd be the Outbreak series, Outbreak 1 and 2.
They're not going to do that either.
That was fun.
They're going to forget those ever existed.
I would take a remaster of that instantaneously, though. I know a lot of people would get pissed off about the fucking tank controllers. No, man, I'd go for a remaster or whatever. But they ain't going to. They're going to keep making shitty ass. Whatever the fuck came out, what they promised with Village was a year late. It came out and no one gave a fuck. Shadow Rose. Spend a few seconds on that, Eddie. It sucked. Let's be.
It was okay for me.
Nah,
You'd have to play through it like 3 or 4 times to get all the achievements.
I'm not doing that shit.
I only played it once and I was done.
Yeah, because it's bad. Let's not skip around it. It was bad. It was awful. It was funny. I didn't mind the third person at all, but I'm literally just the entire regular game was first person. They make you play the fucking new one in third person, and maybe they patched the shit in. But day one, I'm playing in third, and she's slow as fuck, man. And it's linear as hell. When it opens up, the best shit was like getting paranoid about your bullets and finding treasure about Village, and then there's none of that here, hardly at all. You have like 3 guns.
You get a handgun, a shotgun, and your whatever powers, and I forgot.
2 guns. Yeah, 2 fucking guns. That ain't what Village was about. They didn't even. Whoever made that, I don't even know it's the fucking same team. But they didn't get what Village was about at all, and it was bad. It was lame. The fucking force running shit was some one of the worst shit at damn Resident Evil 6. Well, maybe not that bad, but it was awful. So
I would say the lowest point for Resident Evil 2 was the alligator scene.
Because it was just
the original,
it was
you
just
actually fight the thing.
Just a quick time
in
event.
The remake,
I think it was left, right, left,
and it blows up.
Yeah, it was basically like 3 moves and you were out.
Left, right, left, and then a button.
Yep.
I wish you could have fought the alligator.
Well, I would say
that would have been fun.
The weakest part of Resident Evil 2 remake was we
alligator.
were talking about it. We were talking about what was it, Ghost Stories or some shit?
Well, the Ghost Survivors, whatever.
Yeah.
I never did any of that.
Yeah. Because it was optional, and here's your bonus content, and it sucked, and I didn't care.
No, the only 2 that I recognize are Hunk and Tofu.
Well, I played the one where you're the girl who's getting sexually assaulted by the fucking
the mayor
police
or
chief.
Whatever.
Yeah, the police chief.
Yeah.
And you escape and then die anyway. I think if that's what it was, but that was the only one I really bothered to play. I'm like, this is not fun. You had to play it exactly a certain way, and it was lame.
Yeah.
So they get some hits and misses here somewhere. But you cannot fuck up Resident Evil 4. If you fucking this up, you're in deep doo trouble. And I don't want to see no more damn remakes anymore.
Yeah, you're talking about the extra things. I don't even remember the name of the one that came out with Resident Evil 3 remake. What was it, like Resistance or something like that?
There was Resistance, and then there was another one. There was more like a shooty player. One was like a damn, what do you fucking call it? Asymmetrical multiplayer, where one bad guy's running the cameras and putting enemies in, and then he could play as the enemy. And then the other one was more like a more generic death match where you could turn into a super boss.
I think so. It's like I remember, like, I think I tried it for like 1 second. Was like, I don't need this.
Yeah. And we didn't.
It was like they threw it in, and it was like, here's your. We know this is short and mediocre. Here you go.
Yeah.
I played through RE3 remake twice, and I was like, ugh.
I don't need to play through it again. I
played through it one time, and then I was like, "Ooh, you can get these little token things and unlock stuff." And then that was that was as far as I went. I was like, I think I played like 5 minutes into a new play, and then I was like, there's really no reason to go back through this.
Because the way we thought was going to be, there was going to be a lot of replaying through it with all that shit in it and just changing it up. But your core was fucking mediocre. The boss fights they added was like literally run around in circles. Just freaking lame as shit.
Yeah, no giant worm, no optional paths, no alternate ending stuff. Everything that was good about the original, they cut out of the remake. So no,
it should have been DLC.
They'll tell you the game is DLC. The rest of the game.
Yeah, just DLC it on the freaking Resident Evil 2 and be like, hey, here's a $10 DLC that has some high points or low points of Resident Evil 3. That's all it was.
Yeah. It's probably where the way I heard, they were made simultaneously or whatever. So they were already planning to do the remake of 3 when they started on 2. That's how they got it out a year later. But you definitely had your B team working on 3.
It was kind of like, what are you guys working on? It's like, oh shit, they fucked up. It's like you won't believe what those guys are doing.
Yeah,
they missed the mark there.
Great engine. So the game looks great. A lot of people do not like Super Macho Man Jill. To me, it was, and I've just talked about this before. It felt like in the original Resident Evil 3, you felt like you're trying to get the fuck out of this city, and she had no plan of caring about leaving in this one. Regardless of bringing up Nemesis in the first 2 seconds. I mean, he's going to show up, but it's like, we're going to surprise you by him. He's just going to break through the wall. Not like Mr. X didn't do that fucking already. And, it didn't jump scare me at all. I didn't care. But you can't do that. You can't do that with Resident Evil 4. First of all, if you turn Resident Evil 4 into like a damn 5-hour game, you really done fucked up.
Yeah, you done fucked up.
How long does that usually take?
Oh, it was like a
original Resident Evil 4.
Hours.
Where's my 15 hours?
Yeah, about 10-15 hours for original Resident Evil 4.
Yeah,
I remember trying to speed run it once.
I know that's different, Eddie. That's different from when you that first. I know when you got going on and you're just blasting through it. That's a huge different story than that first go.
That first go is like about a 15-hour game, give or take. Just fucking around.
At the time, that puts that well larger than all of the other ones.
Oh yeah. I think my first playthrough was like somewhere around like 15, 18 hours, something like that. Just kind of like hunting for shit.
How long the beat has it has 15 and a half for main story, main plus extra 19 and a half, and the completionist 31, which would probably be like if they added any achievements or the secondary capability.
About to say mercenaries or whatever.
Yeah.
Mercenaries took me forever to do, but I did it and unlocked that the one-shot boss kill weapon.
How great would it be if Mercenaries was 2-player on this one? I would
be fucking awesome.
I would lose my mind.
That'd be good because on the original Mercenaries, Leon sucked real bad.
Oh, yeah,
Krauser was the easiest to play through and get S rank.
So you just would go through enough to get the bullshit Wesker type characters. What you're saying?
Well, the thing is...
No, they were all unlocked. You just have to S-rank everybody.
Oh, yeah, okay. You had to S-rank every single person to get the hand cannon. And Leon's was, like, legit probably the hardest one to freaking get.
Because he had a handgun and a crappy shotgun.
Yep.
And
it was like, because all the characters are there, but it's like, you got to S-rank every single one of them.
Yeah.
It was like Krauser, Wesker, I think Hunk might have been there, Ada, and then Leon. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, there's only like 4 or 5, but...
Well, now that Sherry's like 45 years old, she might be a playable character.
She ain't gonna be in RE4. She wasn't in the
I'm
original
not Sherry.
RE4.
Fucking what's the damn blonde-headed
Ashley.
bimbo? Yeah, blonde-headed bimbo with a slightly bigger tits. It's
That
fucking.
was really like,
Ashley
yeah.
can't use weapons.
Well,
She,
she can now, man. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make a strong woman. All right, Eddie's gonna get mad.
Dude, I
no.
really honestly hoped that was the downfall. I mean, the one part of Resident Evil 4 that I always hated going through was the part where you play as Ashley. And it's
Yeah.
like, they could have just been like, have her have a gun, but she'd be like terrible at it, but at least she has something.
Yeah.
You know, just because you feel like you're just fumbling around just trying to get back to the Leon part. You know, it's just.
Because as soon as I unlocked the suit of armor, that's what costume I used for her, so I don't have to rescue her every 10 seconds.
You know, I never bothered with the suit of armor. I mean, I thought it was neat, but at the same time, it was like,
It was like, she's unkillable. I can go around, use her as a distraction for the enemies, and shoot at my leisure.
I never had a problem with taking the enemy. You know, it was one of those. The first time I went through that game, it was like, holy crap! It's like they give you way more ammo than you really needed. But being Resident Evil, you expect like you start stockpiling ammo because you're like, I'm going to need all this. And then by the time you get to the game, you're like, I got like 900 pistol rounds and 400 shotgun rounds, and you're just like, I didn't need to stockpile all
When
that.
you figured out which weapons you seriously would need, you would save up your flash grenades for all the Plaga things popping out.
I mean, because as soon as one of those popped, I mean, you pretty much knew exactly where they were going to pop to most of the time. It's kind of one of those, you just figured out that whether you like the red 9 or the black tail, you know, and go on with that.
Yeah, I like the broken butterfly. And just shoot him one hit.
I usually used it because you got it for free, and I didn't have to. I never even upgraded it. I'd always use a black tail and max it out, just for the speed of it. Now, did either of y'all ever play the Xbox One version of it that came out?
No, I know what you're going to, but go
Oh,
tell us
God.
about it.
Fucking terrible. I don't know what I know what one of the problems was. They made it run at 60 frames a second. So everything was a little bit sped up, but not really bad, but it threw your timing off. Because I bet I'd play through Resident Evil 4 probably like 20 times at that point. And I was like, God, my timing sucks. These guys are getting to me way faster than I was used to. And then the freaking the loadout for the, like, when you would the random, like if there was supposed to be handgun bullets somewhere, that's where they would be. But you know how it would randomly be like if you opened up a crate, the drops were almost always gold, which was great because you could upgrade it, but you were like constantly looking for freaking ammo. I played through that version one time, and it was like I used weapons. I was literally like I would sell weapons and buy them back just so they would have ammo in them. That's how freaking bad the ammo was. Like, you'd be like, I hadn't seen shotgun shells in like 2 hours. And you'd just be walking around with like one shotgun shell. And then you'd just be like, well, if I upgrade the capacity, at least it automatically refills it. And then eventually you just be like, I'm just going to sell this thing and just like rebuy another one or buy it again. But you would have shitloads of gold.
I got a question. So, in the 60 frames, did the enemies move faster that you thought, or is it just an impression switching from 30 to 60?
I think they were moving faster.
Yeah.
Like, literally, because like I had pretty good timing on Resident Evil 4. Like, pop the kneecap, go over there and start, like you knew about how, like, if you saw the animation, you would be like, oh, you knew how to react to it. Like, this person's about to lunge at me, so I'm just going to back up and turn. And then they'll go right past me, and then I, hit them with a knife and then suplex them. Like when you do the stutter step, you stutter step forward and then back, and they lunge, and you just attack them with a knife.
Yeah.
And it was like my timing was always off, and I'm like, I think they're moving like just a little bit faster. Not like it was sped up, but it was like, I think the 60 frames a second made it like a little bit quicker.
What happens is a lot of times the Japanese players, developers, they know what the frame rate's going to be because it's a console first game. It's like, oh, well, this is our goal. We're not going to try for 60. We're going to try for 30, be more cinematic. The entire game is programmed at 30. And as soon as you start doing like some kind of damn, oh, well, we're going to make your shit 60. You know, your Xbox One will easily crank out a damn GameCube game at 60 frames. But the entire game has been programmed at 30. So anything from it's innocuous is just going up ladders or anything like that. It's something that just randomly goes ape shit insane. And so even your random number generator goofy shit is going to be designed around 30 frames. You've changed it now. It's on 60. So that alone could be on top of just some random B team or C team making the damn thing. It's just going to be fucked. And if you didn't go through and realize that and go through almost every single line of code and make sure that your shit, fucked. Your game's going to be wackied out. There's a lot of...
I thought it was just me. I was like, damn, I'm having the worst luck in this game as far as drops go. And I looked online on like message boards and there'd be like, I never get fucking ammo drops. Every one of them was like that. I get gold. It's like I had more gold than I could freaking spend. Like it was like constant. Like, oh man, I'll just drop $100,000 on like a freaking rocket launcher, like 3 or 4 times in the game. You'd be like, but you'd just be like, dude, I ain't getting no ammo for jack. And they did the same thing with Resident Evil 6 on the Xbox One. There's one part of that game that I don't know if it's impossible to beat it playing single player, but it's pretty. From what I understand, most people have to get online and get somebody to help them. Do you remember in Resident Evil 6, there's a part where you're playing as Jake and what's her name? Not Ashley,
Sherry.
Where the big thing's chasing you through the doorways, and one of you has to go open the door.
Yeah.
And as soon as the door opens, the other player has to run through the other door and open it up. On the Xbox version, since it's sped up just a little bit, it's basically impossible for you to get the door open, run through the door, get to the other door before it crashes through. Like, it's pretty much just impossible to do it. And on message boards, people would be like, they just needed somebody to help them play through it because the computer would never go to the other door. But on the original, you had enough time to open the door, and then you yourself also go to the next door and get it open.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, they fucked up the timing in it.
It's one of the reasons why I just fucking abandoned Xbox. It's like, okay, you guys are getting the third or fourth string of some of this shit. Your remasters of shit is just the PC version with more crap on it, and then on top of that, you're just you're going to sell me a damn upgraded Xbox fucking Pro or whatever it is. I'm done. I'm out. And so,
it's like a tap out. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm just fucking, ain't never gonna go like that. And it just went to PC, didn't come back. You know what? There's some games that fuck up. But you know what? There's some Xbox games that fuck up. Fucking Bloodstained on Xbox. That's the one I freaking kickstarted. Got the physical copy of it. It just crashed like 15 times playing through the damn game. I didn't even have the damn patch, the launch patch, because I'm on Xbox. I get fucked. I don't even get the launch patch. I get the damn whatever the hell's on the
PC version was like out the gate great. You know.
Yeah.
At least you didn't get the Switch version, because I heard it took them like a fucking year to patch that thing.
I want to say that Russell was the one he was going to get, and it's like, yeah, you just got fucked.
It was like everybody I talked to was like, I fucked up, and I think they finally did patch it, and it's still not as good as the other versions, but at least it was like playable.
Yeah.
But I think it took like almost a year.
Yeah, I got like crosscode on fucking Switch. I'm like, I know this is going to be involved. Let me just get this. Could be my Switch game, and I'm like, this motherfucker runs it's somewhere between 30 and 60, and it's never one or the other. And it's like, you know what? I'm not going to bother. This is a little indie game, and it's just because the dang Switch is still at the core essence of Game Boy. It's just like, oh, you know what? I'm done. And this guy is 6 fucking dummy and fucking damn shit looks like a big freaking PSP game, and it runs like an N64 game. It's freaking the worst of all worlds, man.
Yeah, freaking the 20 to 30 frames, GoldenEye.
Let's do an hypothesis. This is one of the reasons I wanted you on, Eddie. Where are they gonna cut on a Resident Evil 4 remake? What would they cut?
Okay, where are they gonna cut? I don't know.
You don't want to go there. I'll go there. If they're going to cut that fucking Krauser Island shit down. They're going to cut it down. I bet you
it needs to be cut down greatly.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be cut.
It's kind of thrown in there. You know what I mean? It's kind of like they introduced him like what 2/3 into the game.
Yeah,
But
and
that
it
was
literally
the easiest boss fight. That was the most fun
that's
boss
even
fight.
more.
You just take out the knife and just stab him in his
That's
dead.
But it
more
was
easy to cut it.
unnecessary.
Yeah,
It was unnecessary. It was just it was busy work is what it was. It was
You
just
had
something.
to have a glorious end, and Leon's loose end gets tied up, and
I think the point of that was otherwise you're going from literally Raccoon City rookie Leon to like, oh, I'm a super duper badass, and it's not explained unless you put Krauser in there. But I don't think Krauser's needed.
There was a different game that actually was supposed to explain Krauser.
Yeah, it's one of those shooty games.
It was Chronicles, Dark Chronicles.
He was supposed to die epically, and then he gets recruited by Sadler, and then all this other stuff, and that explains Krauser being there and knowing Leon.
That whole character was unnecessary.
Yeah.
That was the easiest boss in the game.
Eddie don't want to hear it. He does not. You cannot muck with his princess. It has to be perfect. No,
that was the easiest boss in the game besides the lake monster.
He's gonna just
the lake monster was fun.
Go ahead and deny it, Eddie. We got you. I got your recorder right here. No, it was necessary. It wasn't necessary.
Do you think they'll cut the Ashley part where you actually use her?
The game that you're going to play as
Ashley? I would
Ashley,
hope so.
They'll change it up.
So.
They'll change it up drastically.
I don't want to go through that again.
They're also not going to make her be just completely the ditzy girl in the distress. For you can't do that in I don't know. I guess say this century.
Well,
so you ain't allowed to do that. So I think, of course, the weebaboos are all pissed off because she's wearing shirts on her skirt or skirts or something. It's like a skirt that's skirts.
Well, they made her look older, which was probably good because you got the impression it's like she was supposed to be like a freshman in college, like storyline wise, but it's like she almost looked like she was like middle school or something.
Yeah. That's the Japanese-ness of the game.
Oh yeah. Which one was it where they cut the line out at the end about like Grady first you're interested in a little like R&R or something like she comes
that
on.
was at the end of 4 when he's like, hey, how about some overtime? And he's like, nah.
One of them they cut that out. Which one did they cut that out of?
I don't know.
I could have sworn they cut it out of like the Switch version or something like that. Like when they redid it on the Switch, where it was like because the Switch came out with the trilogy thing where it was like 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Which honestly was funny because like the cartridge was 4 and it had a downloadable code for 5 and 6. So if you bought it used, you got one game. But there was one of those, I swear that they cut that line out at the end of it because I remember being like, that was kind of odd. You just used to hearing it, and it was like, I wonder if,
That's how you can be an article on oneangrygamer.com, okay? Piss off people. And I think they might have a quick cut. I mean, what the fuck they are? The damn quick scenes or whatever they is for just a
quick time events.
I
would hope so. Those things were annoying.
They're gonna cut down.
Quick time with Krauser.
Yeah,
that was where most of my deaths came from.
Yeah, that was like it was neat, but at the same time, you couldn't really.
It was annoying.
You couldn't really watch the scene because you were too busy waiting for the button to pop up.
Yeah,
and I would always get it wrong and get stabbed.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, this is the problem I had with the first Force Unleashed game, which I liked the Force Unleashed game, but the battles, like the boss fights, when they would get down to a certain length of health, it would go into a quick time event. And if you did it wrong, then it would they would bounce off of you and have a little bit of health left and you'd have to do it over and over and over again. And it got annoying because you couldn't actually see the fight because you're too busy waiting for see what button popped. So it's like you really it took your field of vision out of what was actually going on.
It's dated as fuck is what's going on, and so I remember Ninja Gaiden Rager's Edge. You have your boss life bar. What you did not know is that like almost a fourth of that damn bar was actually a quick cut scene. It's like you get him down. You depressing. You get him down to half life. You're like, man, I've worked my ass off. I can't even get nothing. You actually were almost there. They didn't tell you because you have a cut scene. We won't go. We've done plenty of talking about how the fucking complete global saturation on fucking number 5 on hard, how ridiculous that is. How if one player messes up, then it's all done. And the 6, doing 6 on hard was ridiculous as shit.
The goddamn airplane.
Yeah.
The fucking airplane.
Yeah, I remember Jerry couldn't do it for a long time. He kept crashing the plane.
Yeah, everybody crashed the airplane.
I remember playing as Leon, and me and Steven played it like when it first came out, and I think Steven was like, "What the fuck are you doing up there?" Like, I was like, "How do we keep crashing?" And I'm like, "I swear to God, man, it's Leon. If he gets in a vehicle, bad stuff happens." It's like, but it's like, look over here. It's like playing Bop It. It's like, look up, look down, pull this, yank this, and it's like fucking annoying.
Yeah. Those are the cuts they're cuts that need to be made, Eddie. I know you're gonna fucking offend. This is a new game.
No,
and so the original game is still
in there.
The original game.
The buttons where you do the uppercuts and stuff, guys.
Those are back. Those are back.
Want.
Yeah.
Now they might cut the bugs. You know the flying bug things that are the flash grenades. They might cut them. I don't know.
I doubt it because it was such a long part of the game.
It was just another thing for you to have to go rescue Ashley out of a giant cave full of bugs.
Yeah.
And it was a way for you to get some treasures because each one had a treasure in it.
Yep. Waiting for their eyes to change color so you could get what was it, the blue one? It was always hard.
Yeah, I think it was the blue that was the hardest to complete the lantern.
But the rolling boulder, it's like, if you want to leave one in, great. We don't need 2 of them.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if what else was. I mean, that water room was fucking brutal, but you got to leave the water room in because it was fucking brutal.
The water room, which
that was like when you first really got into the castle. It's called the water room. It's the one.
Is that the one where you had to, all those guys are all around and Ashley has to go up and pull levers or something?
Yep, that's the whole, and it's one whole room where it's like
I remember that.
It's like the first half is you killing a bunch of freaking people, and then the second half is you having to shoot people that are trying while she's doing the levers. They call it the water. That was annoying. Yeah. I mean, but it's like you almost want them to leave it in just because it's like, well, this room sucks.
It's one of those.
It's like you got to leave it in because it's fucking hard. It was like the hardest part of the fucking game.
Yeah.
I would say that. I would say the quick time events with Krauser.
The Krauser ones were annoying. It's like I would have rather them just do a cutscene and watched it than actually sit there and do the quick times. It's like, because it was a cool scene, but
it was cool. It was good for storyline, but I did not like that.
Yeah, you just
20
have to,
deaths.
Yeah, 20 deaths because I remember like majority of mine, like yours, were like from that fucking fight scene the first time.
I got a question. How many difficulty modes did the original have?
Normal and professional.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was professional right from the get-go?
There was, I can't remember if professional got unlocked when you first beat it or if it was like right from the get-go. I think you had to beat it first.
I'm almost positive they'll have, they call it hardcore. They'll have hardcore ready to go. That's the way
I'm sure they'll have hardcore.
That's the only way I'm going to play it.
I think they added easy later on in some of the ports, but I mean, it was like, why would it really? I mean, it wasn't a more difficult game to begin with. It's like,
well, I mean, it's pretty rough. It might have been as hard as, like, say, the original Resident Evils, which you were fighting the controls, you're fighting the ammo. But
how are you fight the controls again?
Well, Eddie, you just
when they suck.
You're trying to set us up here, Eddie. We already know that there's going to be quite a few people who will not play those original games. But
they're hard to go back.
I have the original Resident Evil. Well, I got Resident Evil Director's Cut. I got the original Resident Evil 2.
Yes, we know.
3 is fun. Original 3 is good.
It's only going to be, I'm going to tell you right now, of all the Resident Evil people it's really only me and you who would go back and play those. One day I'm going to
do every once in a while.
One day I'm going to do the randomizer for the part 1 on PC. Whenever I tried it one time, I fucked it up. I'll have to sit there and have like an entire extra save on the side in case I screw it up. But so you need, and I had to reinstall the whole damn game. It's like, man, I should have just copied this damn save and redo it. I'll tell you another thing that they're going to cut on Resident Evil 4, and it's probably going to make you mad. And I don't know if you knew this, Eddie, but the translation to English is way different than it is the actual Japanese, and so that's what gave his Leon is like this campy as fuck attitude about shit, just being corny as hell. That was added in the Western release. It's not there in the original Japanese. It's just the classic hard ass Resident Evil 6 Leon. That I don't know if they're going to do any tributes to that. I mean, they should just go all in.
They're going to make fun of what was his name, Salazar being a little kid.
I would have.
That was in the original, where he made fun of him for.
I remember some. I don't remember the exact quotes. I remember being corny as shit.
Yeah, there's like there's like.
I do know one thing they are cutting. Is at the very beginning there's like a dog or a wolf or whatever in the trap, and you get to release them.
I saw
and
that.
He helps you later. They're gonna make sure that animal is dead, and you have to go through that El Gigante fight alone.
They've already verified that.
I think that was
I believe
already.
So.
I think he's right. Like I think I was watching a gameplay thing, and some guy was like,
dead.
"Oh, the dog's like already dead. There's like nothing you can do about it." I mean, unless it changes, like maybe it's like they change it up.
Yeah, that's what it could very possibly happen. You got to remember that they know that you've already played through the original one, and so they can fuck with you. And we've already been there. We already hit the damn classic dog through the window shit that they changed up when it happened on Resident Evil remake.
2, yeah.
Yep.
But I guess we're getting near an ending point. If there's anything else you want to say for Resident Evil 4, I'm going to give us we're all going to have a homework assignment for the next damn podcast. That
I want my chainsaw controller. I want an updated chainsaw controller.
I want to actually get one of those chainsaws and be able to chainsaw dudes in the game.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't do that in Mercenaries. Have like the chainsaw dude be somebody you could use in Mercenaries. Because that Mercenaries roster wasn't very big.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like, why not throw him in there? I mean, chainsaw people.
You get chainsaw in Silent Hill. Why not Resident Evil?
Yeah.
The Mercenaries in Village sucks. I would love for them to expand it. I've got that feeling that they're going to work on the main game and then leave these side things as junk still. That's my worry.
Well, if they actually keep it close to the original,
they're not going to.
Leon's gonna suck.
They're not going to, because you already know the balance is going to be different. So the entire how that works is going to be different.
Yeah, because that was like a different mercenary. It was like there was a massive leap in Mercenaries between 4 and 5. Same with 6. It was like you were like, oh, this is what they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure if they put Mercenaries in, it'll be like really updated.
It better be in. I'd be pissed otherwise.
I don't know.
But it'll be like
hard to say.
They'll probably have it, and they'll be like, we're going to give you multiplayer in like 7 or 8 months.
No.
Fucking Revelations 2.
Gotcha.
By the time we give it to you, all you and your friends will be level 100, and you won't give a shit no more.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't think they're going to add multiplayer because I don't know of any of the other ones in the engine that are multiplayer.
Yeah,
I don't even know if those side games, or even in the RE engine, they might not be. They might be in their old MIT engine, I think that's what it's called. But hey, I would love to be proven wrong. I would love, a freaking big unlock in 2 players, and then maybe even throw some raid mode in there as a DLC. I'd buy the fuck out of that. But
raid mode would be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
raid mode.
They could do a raid mode and include some of since it's the same fucking engine. You're all of a sudden just pop up and you're just randomly at the fucking damn police station.
It's like you go through one of these side caves, and the next thing you know, it's like, this is a back door to the police station the whole time. We never left the fucking island, god damn it.
Wait a minute, where did they throw the castle in there?
Well, of course
the castle is the police station, man. It's like that was in the basement, like the Alamo.
Oh, I'm talking about Resident Evil 8, the Resident Evil Village castle.
I mean, they could.
That castle.
You're being chased by Lady D.
They could. They can
This
make
gun's
her.
not working. I gotta get out of here.
You just fly swatter her, man. On the
No,
butt.
you find that dagger and turn her into a dragon, then kill her.
Eddie's
and
like,
collect
don't
treasures.
disrespect this lore on Village, but he's the only one who knows the lore on Village. Everybody else knows fat ass vampire bitch. That's what they know. And I beat the game, and that's all I know.
That's all you need to know.
Oh, best boss battle there. Let's see.
Wouldn't it be
Fishman.
funny though? Is like if they do try to add into 4 a looming boss to like chase you down.
I would be boring, and it would be played
It'd
out.
be fucking terrible.
Yeah, that would be Krauser. Towards the end of the game,
No,
he
they need to
chases
make
you
it.
around. And you gotta.
They need to
fight
make it
him
the
off
big
a bit.
amphibian thing, the big damn frog thing. Okay, he's out of the damn water. He's gonna get you.
What, Moreau?
I don't know what the fuck is the name of these monsters, man. There's
What,
a
the
giant.
Delago?
Yeah,
It was lake dude. It was lake guy. That's all.
The lake
That's all you need
monster.
to know.
Yeah.
No,
fucking-
you shoot at the water, the lake monster eats you.
Yeah.
I tried to go fishing from the dock and got eaten a few times. That was a fun death.
But it's like, you know, because they tied it into all their games, and I'm like, that would be so overdone if they did it in this one.
Yeah, it overstayed its welcome. It was not done well on 3, and so
No.
it was scripted as fuck when it happened, and I could predict what had happened. And
Oh yeah, you knew exactly when it was going to happen on 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd hear the music change.
Well, you could just tell by the areas. You'd be like, well, he's going to show up here, and then he'd show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you show up and then you have a thing come up with alternate stuff of how to deal with him. Run away or use item.
Well, in 3, the hospital was the best part of.
Yeah, it
the
really
remake.
was. Yeah.
And-
The hospital was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
kind of cool. And then the game was over.
Yeah.
So,
But we'll see. I'm excited. I don't think they're going to fuck it up. They're going to cut the hell out of shit, Eddie. I'm just going to tell you. Just get ready. Get ready. That freaking crawls are only appear in the game. People
Oh
get
yeah,
mad.
one other item. The snakes. When you shoot a snake, you get an egg. The eggs, you just sit there around the chickens and they give you eggs and you get gold eggs.
You
You
sell
either
them
sell them
fuckers.
for money or you use them as first aid sprays.
So they're going to cut the chickens because of the pandemic. 'Cause
Oh.
we got
eggs are fucking expensive, man.
Yeah.
They're going to go up like 5 times as much in the game.
it's going to be DLC
Yeah, they're gonna
eggs.
cut the chickens and now I'll just throw the controller down so I ain't playing this anymore.
I just like
Ain't
to
no
see how
point.
many eggs it would take to kill people. You
Ain't
just
no
throw
point
them.
anymore.
Or you could be Wesker and 5. I need an egg. Or whatever
Yep.
they used to say.
That was the best part of Resident Evil 4. Just sit there, collect eggs, and either sell them or use them.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a month away, Eddie. The 24th. And I will have it day 1. And you're going to bitch about, no one's going to fucking touch it. You're going to have plenty of time. Because freaking Jason's going to play that shit at like freaking damn 1 p.m. I'm going to play it at like 3 a.m. So you just had to get that shit in the middle. And you're gonna freak out because you don't own it. I ain't gonna worry about that crap. I still to this day don't own Resident Evil 2. I went from borrowing Jason's copy to borrowing yours. I don't know how that shit happened, but that's how Steam assigned it to me. Now,
Well,
so
Resident Evil
I-
2 was out cheap, and I got it.
well,
That's how it happened.
if you're Resident Evil 2 quality, you're looking at Game of the Year probably. I mean, there's a lot of good games this year, but you're going to be in the running. Game of the Year. I loved Resident Evil 2. It was fucking great.
Resident Evil 2 was fun.
Yep. The original one is different, and I'm perfectly all fine with that. They are both great, and so that's what I would like. And
The only downside for the remake of 2 was the alligator scene. That's all I got
well,
against it.
you can make some talk about once you leave the police station, it's a weaker game, but that was the original Resident Evil 2 as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was about to say, once you got to the, underground, it was weaker in the original anyway.
Yeah. Generally, by then you've got the bullets or whatever. You're either fucked or you're good to go.
Yeah.
But in the actual Resident Evil 2 trailer, when it first was coming out, you see that giant alligator, and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to fight that thing.
Well, technically you did. You just put a thing in its mouth.
You either deal with it one of two ways. You either use all your bullets on it, or you blow the head off.
Yeah, well, I'll do the damn fucking
Quick time.
shit. Yeah. Left, right, left, or whatever the fuck it was. And if I'm backwards, I'll get it down the next go. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you gonna have a freak out, Eddie? You gonna freak about that damn alligator? I'm not playing Resident Evil 4. They're not gonna have the Degado in it. Now, yeah. Well, that's possible. Or they'll make that Degado because he was a quick time pretty much before. They'll make him, a completely
the
different
lake
fight.
monster was a key part because he led you into a certain section to where you either go to the merchant and
They'll just cut the whole section, man. Ain't no problem.
Yeah, they'll cut the whole damn
that's
section.
another thing.
They'll cut the merchant. They'll cut the fucking merchant.
They're gonna cut the merchant out.
I wonder if they'll keep all the guns.
It's possible they won't. Or
I mean, because there were certain guns in that game. I mean, it was cool to have the options, but I mean, did anybody actually go through that game playing with the Punisher gun? I mean, it was just
Eddie probably did.
I think I tried a few of them, and just used the ones that I like best.
Yeah, I mean, because wasn't there was like 4 regular pistols, I think, in that game, and then like 2 magnums.
There was one that had like piercing on it.
Yeah, that was
okay
Punisher.
for like the beginning part, but later on, you didn't really use it.
Kind of like
the mine thrower was good until you got the homing thing. The homing thing kind of sucked.
Yeah, I liked it when it didn't have the homing thing on it. It was kind of cooler. The laser thing could be cut out.
What laser thing? The PRL?
Yeah.
The PRL 412 instant boss kill. That was usually after you beat the game.
Yeah, I'm about to say you got it much later on. It didn't really need 3 shotguns.
Hydra's in that one, right?
No, that was 5.
There was like one with a big round drum on it.
That was the striker. It held like 99 bullets when you fully upgraded it.
That sounds pretty ass.
The other ones were like a standard, like Remington 870, and then like the other one's just assault shotgun,
now,
like a Mossberg.
I know they had like the sniper rifle. Did they have any other rifles though?
They had a bolt action and then like a regular rifle, and you had a big laser scope, and you get a thermal for it to shoot the hidden plug of things on the regenerators.
I think they'll have all those guns in because Resident Evil 8 was loaded down with them shit. So I
wonder if they're going to keep the regenerators.
I wonder if they're going to keep as many. I wonder if they'll have them, but it won't be as. I mean, because you come in contact with like probably 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah, and at first they're pretty hard until you figure out what you're doing.
Yeah.
You just get the thermal scope and shoot at them, or chuck a million grenades at them, or you can do the fun thing and try to knife them to death.
Yep, the back one was always the hard one to get.
Yeah.
You just have to take its legs out and get it from behind.
And make sure it didn't jump on you. The Iron Maidens were a bit more difficult due to the fact that you get close to them, they spike up.
That section of the game that could cut short too. Where there's like the Iron Maiden where you walk down the hallway and you basically just, the whole point of it was to run into an Iron Maiden and climb up some steps. It was so short that it was like, why did I have to go down this hallway? Type deal like that.
Yeah.
Now, as long as they don't cut fucking, what's his name up? What was it, Doug or Mike or whatever, and the helicopter gets,
the helicopter guy helps you, and then he gets shot down with the
man, that made it personal. That's what Leon finally was like, okay, now it's personal. I have to take out this guy. Fuck all the other shit.
Yeah. And what about the double El Gigante thing where you can sink one of them into a pool of molten metal or whatever?
Yeah, I wonder if they'll keep that. Because, I mean, really, that would be resource hogged as hell if you're running high end.
Or you can kill them both and collect both treasures. Choice is yours on ammo.
What if there's no treasure, Eddie? You'll have a freak out? I know you will.
No, there was
Then I'll be throwing that controller down and say, I'm not playing. There's no treasures in this game? No.
Oh, I know a section they might cut out. The freaking, what was it like? The boss fight was something 13. It was like a scorpion-looking guy. Yeah, that was it. U8. It was
yes. It was pretty interesting.
It was like
very annoying.
Yeah, it was like you had to go through the crates on the freaking thing, and then
go through the crates, and he's trying to strangle you and pull you up and eat you, and then when you're thinking you're done with him, he comes up mutated as ever, and it's like, oh, and then he changes form again, and goes in the ground and pops up all the time.
I could see him getting rid of that whole section. Because, I mean, he was only in that game for that one little section, and it was kind of like, it was just something added in.
Let me introduce you to my pet. He's like one of the first experiments or something.
I just remember him looking like a scorpion guy. And then
he ended up looking like a giant scorpion with a thing on his back.
I don't remember that shit.
You would know it if you saw it. It was like a time thing where you're on this container, and every few seconds part of the container drops into a pit, and you'd have to work your way through the container while he was trying to attack you.
Open the doors, push the button, and try to drop the container with him on it, but he jumped to the next one.
Just think about how varied that gameplay was compared to just like Resident Evil 3 or Code Veronica at the time. They added, they spent a lot of time on that.
That's why I got Game of the Year 2005.
Yeah, that's the best you can hope for here. I think honestly, we'll see. They're going to cut shit. They're
going to cut things. I know some of the stuff they're going to cut out. I don't know everything though.
Well, that dog, they could just fucking fuck with you later on, Eddie. They could
just throw it back in.
You could be on the jet ski going out, and then the dog is dead, and he comes back to life as a zombie dog shark and gets your ass.
And then it'd be like Doug or Mike or something to show up and be like, I jumped out at the last second. And be like,
oh, that would be good.
And then freaking Ada would show up and be like, I'm not that bad,
Yeah, yeah.
I bet they will cut out like separate ways and all that. I bet that won't be in there.
That might be a DLC a year later.
Well, yeah. I don't know. That Resident Evil 2 and 3 did not have DLC, did it?
No.
Nothing of note. It was like weapons and stuff.
It's pretty much them like starting shit. I think it was just like collector scrap.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. So it might not be no DLC. We'll see. The Village it just took a fucking year to come out, and then it sucked.
Nobody gave a shit by then.
Yeah, it sucked. But it's how it is, Eddie. Your Rose Ethan Winters story is over with. I know you know the name of all those characters and all that shit, but no one else knows. They all forgot. I like the gameplay in both of them. I like the graphics in both of them, but other than that, the story is forgettable. So
I still think the Dollhouse was a dig at Konami for the Silent Hill stuff.
No, I think the Dollhouse was an exact throwback of the baby shit. So there you go. So they just redid the same thing in the same area twice. But that's it. That's it. Homework assignment
I'm talking
is
about
the
Resident Evil 8, the Dollhouse.
I know exactly what you're talking about. It still says the same because it's the same thing in 7. Here's your designed weird ass freaking non-gameplay oriented section. We're gonna fuck with you. But the homework assignment is next time we do a podcast, we've played through Resident Evil 4 and we can actually talk about it instead of making shit up. Making shit up. What do you think they're gonna do? How do you think they're gonna fuck it up?
I can't believe they had Ada fuck what's his name. It's like, who would have thought that the only way that they could inject Plagas was through butt sex? That's amazing. I mean,
it could happen.
I can't believe they changed that part of the game. I mean, it's like that was the only way to do it was butt sex.
President Dollar Sherry was a dude. It was the president.
She was it was all her plan the whole time.
Yeah, she's behind it the whole thing with her squirts. But we're going to end it right now. We're sitting almost at 2 hours, but I had a pretty good time talking about Resident Evil, making shit up. I had no idea what's going to happen.
I have an idea. I'll be playing it, and I'll be commenting.